All right, good afternoon. We're going to be flying the second of the VFR CAT ratings today on PilotEdge. We're in the, used to be the basement sim, now we're in the closet sim. And I've started here with the briefing document from PilotEdge open and ready to go so we can walk it through, and then we'll brief the flight a little bit on ForeFlight. And then we'll go ahead and give her a go. We're in the TorqueSim SR22, should be a relatively quick hop in that airframe, maybe 15-20 minutes from New Cuyama up to San Luis Obispo. I never know which one it is. But as they always do, PilotEdge has a nice briefing online that describes what this flight is. The point of this flight is to teach you how to go into a towered airport from Untowered Airspace, which is New Cuyama. We can see here on the VFR chart to SBP, and basically the routine here is to make our audio calls at an untowered airport, basically announce intentions to taxi our departure from the pattern, and then when we are within 10 miles or so of SBP, which is a Class Delta airspace, call the tower, tell them that we're coming in, what kind of landing we want to do. They'll give us pattern entry instructions. Usually they tell you straight in and to report 3-mile final, which is easy to forget to do. And then the key thing after that is to get off the runway safely and to call them as soon as you call ground as soon as you've exited the runway to ask for taxi instructions. And I know that because the first time I ever tried to fly this many years ago, I failed it because I exited the runway and started taxiing. And I vividly remember the PilotEdge instructor or controller coming on and saying, where are you going? Which seemed like an innocent enough question until I realized I had done something incorrect. So, you can review the flight in detail here. It talks through how this all works, gives you, as they always do, kind of a transcript and a video you can watch, and some resources. If we look on ForeFlight to brief the flight, first of all, this is a TFR for firefighting. We're going to act like it doesn't exist. It has an altitude restriction, which is, or has an altitude to it, which is 9,000 MSL. We could go over the top, or we could go around, but I don't really want us to wait or have to do that today. So you can read about that TFR here in detail. Basically, they're saying, please stay out of the area. But we'll act like it doesn't exist, and PilotEdge doesn't really work with a pop-up TFR, so we don't have to worry about it very much anyway. But anyway, nonetheless, there it is. We can go over here, we can turn TFRs off and then not have to see it. If we choose not to, we can also turn on the radar, which is on, and clouds if we wanted PilotEdge doing all the things that it does, or ForeFlight doing all the things that it does per normal. So zooming in, I always scroll the wrong way. My apologies for that. We've got New Cuyama. It's closed but still on the chart. Right pattern if we're taking off landing 11. We won't be doing that today. CTAF frequency 122.9. That's where we'll start. We'll announce our intentions. We'll basically make a straight out departure. We'll fly up the we'll fly up the canyon and then pretty much straight to SBP. Not much to worry about in terms of altitude, couple thousand feet. We'll go over, probably at, I would imagine, 4,500, something like that. We're doing a VFR departure heading westerly, so it's actually even numbers. So 45 works just fine. And we'll pretty much be up and down. Nothing really to notice along the way, although watch out for the condors nesting in the high mountain bear trap canyon study areas. That's up here. We don't need to worry about that. Pretty small Class Delta airspace here. Deltas are always blue circles on the charts. Tells you what the, here in ForeFlight, that it's ground up to 2,700 feet, but if you don't have ForeFlight, that's what that 27 in brackets means there. And their ATIS is 120.6, and their common traffic frequency is 1240, but of course we'll be calling the tower, which looks like it's 122.95. No, that's the ATIS there. I can't quite see on this thing very well. Yeah, so we'll be in good shape. And that's all on the charts if you're wondering what to do or how to do it next. So that is pretty much what we're going to do. So without any further ado, we'll get into the sim here. We've gone with a beautiful silver livery here in the TorqueSim SR22. And we'll get ready to fire her up. I've been doing a lot of work recently to get the visuals better than they have been. And I think I'm there. One of the things I'm doing now is I'm using a reprojection software. It looks like my front wall made out of vinyl here is falling apart. Motion reprojection software, which is giving me 60 frames a second on the front. I've capped the sim at 30 frames a second. Plenty of headroom, plenty of scenery. The camera is running at 60 frames. This is then doing motion reprojection to 60. That software, I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's the one that's available on Steam. It's like $7, and it does a nice job. And I had these little micro stutters, and I think it's because of how things are coming with the display. I couldn't quite figure it out, but as soon as I got that motion reprojecting working, it really fixed it. It's not perfect, but it's much smoother on the front display. So I'm eager to see how that looks. I tried it a little bit yesterday, but the camera was at 30, and seeing the other frame doesn't quite, I think, work. So we've now got the camera at 60 frames and a shutter speed of 120. And we've got this thing at 60, and when I'm out of that as a main window, it goes up to 120. And I've done color calibration and a bunch of other stuff today to get this thing hopefully looking the way we'd want it to look. One of the things that you sort of have to struggle with when you're really into flight simulation is you can continue tweaking things forever, and eventually it gets tiring. You just want to fly. Also, we have something new in the sim. I got some new blowers that I attached to these air vents. The fans weren't working very well. They were too big. They were 4-inch fans. I now have a 1-inch blower that's connected right to these things, and now it's like air conditioning in here. I love, love, love it. And so plenty of air moving in here, because with 2 PCs running, it gets a little warmish. Okay. Let's see what we have going on here. Presuming we've done our walk around. Standard pre-flight checklist for the Cirrus SR-22. Everything's off. Passengers have been briefed. Calf handle has been removed. Seat bolts are secure. Brakes are on the brakes. Battery 1 and 2. Make sure that we've got voltages coming. Circuit breakers are all pumped. Strobes on. Nav lights on. We're not going to do it because it's at night. Mixture is full rich. I think I have to, yep, I do. So if you watched a couple of days ago, I've got new throttle handles here. I moved the mixture over to a different, axis on that throttle quadrant. So we just need to fix that. Otherwise we'll have no mixture. My mistake for you having to see that. But now that is done. Otherwise, it would be a pretty slow start. Yeah, that's working. Okay, that's better. Fit for flight. Give you our PFD display here, our MFD display. I ran us at tabs for fuel, so we'll adjust that. And then we've got that all set. Mixture full rich. Fuel pump prime for about 6 seconds. Then to boost. Throttle open 1/4 of an inch. All clear prop. And she barks to life. Let me know how the autos are, if that's too loud. I don't think it is. Not hard for me to adjust here on the stream deck. And the PFD is alive. Turn on alternators. Avionics. I always like to turn off the terrain on this thing if I can. And the topo. Then we'll go ahead and we'll put in flight, just so we have it. We are going to, a little slow on the buttonology today. All right, And we always take a look to make sure that it looks correct. And it does. We got some PilotEdge traffic out there flying around, you can see on there, which is good. Okay, back to our front view. Fuel pump back to off. Power level set to 1,000. Oil pressure looks good. Make sure you're lean for max RPMs. We're about there given where we are. And mirror, everything looks good. Oil temperature's coming up. EGTs are good. Fuel flow looks good. Alright, flaps are up, meters checked, PFD, MSD, that's all done. ATIS clearance. Okay, let's go ahead and get, there is no ATIS here because we are at a untowered airport. But we want to make sure we've got the right barometric pressure, so that's easy to do. You can look at the altitude of the strip, which is 2,203 feet, and you adjust your barometric pressure. We are right at 2,200 feet, so we're in good shape there. And stream's looking pretty good. Happy to see that. Okay, we'll stay on this fuel tank. We're not going to need to switch tanks on this flight. Now we're going to get ready to taxi. Okay, so we're at an untowered airport. First of all, we don't have any wind data, but it's almost always coming from the, well, that's going to bug me. It's almost always coming from the west. So we'll just presume that it is. Our runways here at New Cuyama are 11 and 29er, so we'll be taking 29er. I always like to use my heading bug to bug what my runway heading is going to be. So we're going to have to back taxi for our departure. So we would call that, say that we're going to make a back taxi, and let them know that we're going to head straight out. So our 122.9er is the standard CTAF. We're already on it. I always like to check and make sure that we're broadcasting on PilotEdge. A quick way to do that is to broadcast and receive on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch. And then if you're listening to both channels, you should hear yourself. Radio check. Which we do. Okay. We'll take COM2 back to guard, which I like to monitor, and then COM1 we'll swap it back over, so we're 122.9er. Also, we might as well get ready so we know that when we get to SBP, their ATIS is 120.6, so we might as well put that in on COM2 also. So we're ready to toggle over to that. That's 120.6. Oops. So we've got the ATIS ready. And then we know the tower, which is who we'll be calling, is 124.0, so we might as well put that. I'll put this on the PFD so you guys can see it. A little late for that, but tower is 1240. And again, we won't swap it, but we'll be ready. So we've got our next frequency ready there. We've got the frequency that we're going to listen to get the weather on COM2, so that's ready to go. And then when we start coming in and we're talking to tower, we'll punch in the ground frequency, so we're ready to go with that. That's some of the instrument rating training coming through there. You sort of get ready ahead of time. If you have something to do that you can do early, go ahead and do it. So we're on 122.9er. We've got the weather. We don't need a clearance. We've got our beautiful new fans working in a way that's nice and cool. And we're ready to go, so we'll just give us a call here. Cuyama traffic, Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf is at the GA parking. We're going to back taxi down for a straight out departure to the west on 29er, Cuyama. We zoom in to look to make sure nobody's coming on our traffic. Sure doesn't look like anybody is. We can look left and right, and we're ready to go. Parking brake off. And there's no taxiway here, so you're making a back taxi. And boy, that's nice and smooth on the front screen, isn't it? And one thing I like about the TorqueSim is just like the real Cirrus, you need to use your toe brakes to turn because it is a free castering front nose wheel. And much like the actual airplane, it wants to turn to the left. Okay, if we want, we can go to our checklist here. Our turn coordinator is swinging, our attitude gyro is turning correctly. Down here we've got our pre-takeoff checklist. With a back taxi, you would probably run this run-up checklist on the ramp. You wouldn't do it sitting at the end of the runway. Some of these we could check while we're going along. We're latched, cap handle is out. Seatbelts is harness is done, AC is desired. We've got the fuel that we want, fuel selector full as tank, fuel pump to boost. That's done. Mixture, we'll go full rich. Flaps, set 50%. Transponder. VFR will also squawk altitude. That'll make the radar controllers make their lives a little easier. Autopilot, we would test that during the run-up. Now, you would not do this while taxiing in the real world. You would have your co-pilot do this for cockpit resource management. But I'm just trying to get through it here while we're on the stream. Radios are set, cabin heat, brakes hold. We will do a quick run-up while we're down here just to make sure we don't have any surprises. We'll make another CTAF call too, just in case there's anyone in the area. Cuyama traffic, 15 Juliet Golf is almost to the end of 29er. At the 11 end, at the 29er end, getting ready for a departure out directly to the west, Cuyama. All right. One of these quick pivots down here. 2.8 in this version. And the nice thing with this free castering wheel is the Cirrus basically can turn in a 360 circle just by holding down the right or left brake. Okay, hold the brakes, power lever up to 1700 RPM. Alternator, we'll go turn on all our heat, all our lights, everything, make sure that alternator holds load, which it's doing. Nav lights will have off, landing light will leave on. Magnetos will go left, we're looking for a drop in our RPM, which we have. Go back down to the right, drop in the RPM. That all looks good. Engine instruments, everything looks green. Back down to 1000. Altimeter, let's go ahead and while we're thinking altitude, let's go ahead and bug 4,500 feet because that's what we're going to fly up to. Put that on the PFD. Flight controls are all working. Check, make sure that we have flaps set, and we can check our flight controls. They work. trim, a little back trim for takeoff. On the actual Cirrus, you can see on the yoke stick where that is. Autopilot is disconnected. We're ready for normal takeoff. Incoming traffic, Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf, departing 29er, straight out departure to the west, New Cuyama. Okay, RPMs as expected, engine instruments are in the green, airspeed is alive, we're on the center line. We're at 50 point of VX before 50% of the runway. Takeoff point. We're ready for engine out. Pitch up to about 7%. Newcomer traffic, Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf has departed on 29er. We're heading straight out to the west, New Cuyama. And then I'll go until we're a mile or two away. Flaps coming up. 500 feet, caps is available. In case we need to pull the chute, we're good to do that. And we are heading off. And then once we're about 4 or 5 miles out, we're out of the pattern, we'll announce that we're pretty much done. And we'll make a final call. Oh, looks like 4,500 is going to get us into trouble. We need to go higher than that. Okay, well, we'll go up higher than that then. New Cuyama traffic, Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf, leaving the departure to the west. Final call in New Cuyama. We'll go at 6.5. That's a little better. If not, we'll go higher. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay. All right, looks like we've got some folks watching. Father, son, good to see you. Hello, Stan, thanks for watching. Good Sunday to you. Yes, SR22 today. We'll take a look out the right-hand view. And I have to tell you, at 30 frames, doubling up to 60 on the front screen, it really is smooth. I'll be very curious to see how it looks on there. We don't have to go to 6,500 feet. I wonder why this is giving me that. Well, we'd only have 1,500 feet altitude. That's not a whole lot. It's not a bad idea to go up to that altitude. We can do it. Terrain is, you want time to make decisions. So we'll stay climbing. We can climb a lot faster in this airplane, actually. One thing about switching between this and the Cessna is I forget about the performance of the Cirrus. She can really climb. So we're just sort of following this road and this river up ahead of us, and then we sort of make a angle off to one side, and then we're good. So I never knew this, and all the time I've been flying X-Plane, but you can lock the frames actually in the command line for how you run the program. So if you have a shortcut to X-Plane, like I do on my PC, if you look at the properties of the shortcut, it looks at the command for running it, and if you enter -- lock FPS, I think, underscore, or lock underscore FR, it's -- lock underscore FR equals, and then you can put 30 or 60 or whatever you want to do, and you don't have to worry about VSync or anything like that. It will lock the sim to that frame rate. Okay, let's go ahead and switch over to their tower frequency, and let's go ahead and switch over. We'll switch over for the ATIS 2. It's pretty hard to hear. Papa? We'll listen again in a second. Okay, we've got 800 feet to go on the altitude. Oh, you've been looking out the side window the whole time. Oops, sorry about that. My mistake, operator error. Okay, we're coming up to 6,500 feet. Now, if we're planning descent, San Luis is at 212 feet. So we'd have to lose 6,500 feet altitude. So at 500 feet a minute, what would 6,000 feet, well, we're going down to basically 5,000 feet of pattern. We're going to go to pattern altitude of 1,200. So say we're going to go from 6,500 down to 1,500, we got to lose 5,000 feet. At 500 feet a minute, that's going to take us 10 minutes. So we can start planning top of descent. We'll go ahead and we'll go into heading mode here. And let auto fly the airplane while we think about this. Then we'll hit altitude right when we get to 6,500. There we go. Might as well go to nav mode. We'll follow our track. Okay, so let's do a quick direct to. Okay, we're holding. We'll go ahead and throttle down here to a more reasonable power rating. We could do lean assist, but we're not going to be up here very long. So 10 minutes. We're already 12 minutes out, so we need to start thinking descent pretty soon. After we come over these mountains, we pretty much can come in to the valley. So here in a few minutes, we'll start to a 500 feet per minute descent. We'll set a target of 1,500 feet for our pattern altitude. Now let's see if we can pick up the weather, because we need to give them the weather.
Read backhaul, runway assignments, and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact that you have information, Papa.
Papa, it sounds like.
San Luis County Regional Airport, ATIS information, Papa. 1956 Zulu. Wind 290 at 8. Visibility 10. Smoke. Sky condition, clear. Temperature 24. Dew point 13. Altimeter 3000.
3000.
Runway 29er.
Papa. 29er. We'll go ahead and get our barometer set.
Runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact that you have information, Papa.
I still think that's Papa, right? It's literally hard to hear.
San Luis County Regional Airport, ATIS information, Papa. 1956 Zulu.
Yeah, Papa. All right, so we can see here on the MFD we're 13 minutes en route.
Smoke.
So we're pretty soon close to starting our descent. And we're still quite a bit far away from the Delta, which you can see on the MFD, so we don't have to worry about calling that quite yet. but we need to call them when we're about 10 miles out. And we're 28, as you can see on the MFD across the top of the strip. Nice visuals. Got that little 29 there from the TorqueSim menu. It's not too noticeable. Find a way to eliminate that. Clouds look good though. All right.
Attention all aircraft. San Luis County Regional Information Format current. Altimeter 3000.
I don't know why it's giving us that. Tower is 124.0. We're still 26 miles out, way too early to call him. This is map enhancement ortho scenery, which looks good. Minutes en route. We've got a slight cross headwind, not much to it. We've got traffic out there. I think this is PilotEdge traffic. I hope so, although it's giving me UAL stuff, so maybe it's not. There we go. That should fix it. It was bringing in real-world traffic in for flight. Okay. We're about 10 minutes now out now. I'm going to start bringing us down a little bit. We'll go down to 4,500. We'll go vertical speed. And we'll just go down at about 400 feet a minute. And we'll bug a new altitude to 45. That made this screen freak out for some reason. Not quite sure why. Every once in a while, I think this side loses its connection to the main machine, and then it freaks out. 20 miles, 23. It is disconcerting when this freaks out, though. I have to tell you. Let's check the chat. Yeah, I've been tweaking the settings, more the visuals, trying to get the color displays and everything matching up well. I'm also still interested in whether or not people prefer wide or ultra wide. Wide or ultra wide? You know, it's hard to know. That looks pretty good there in ultra wide, though, doesn't it? See a little bit more of the sim. I feel like in ultra wide though, I feel like it's like I'm sitting in a race car. But mostly the motion reprojection up here is working great. It's making this very fluid for me visually, and I'm eager to see if it's equally fluid in the stream. Okay, let's just check and make sure our weather hasn't changed.
3, altimeter 3000, arriving and departing runway 29er. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact that you have information Papa.
I still think that's Papa, but it might be Alpha. It's really hard to tell.
San Luis County Regional Airport, ATIS information Papa. 1956 Zulu. Wind 290 at 8. Visibility 10. Smoke. Sky condition
Smoke.
Clear.
Makes
Temperature
sense.
24. Dew point 13.
Ultra
Altimeter
wide.
3000. Arriving and departing runway 29er. Visual
Wide.
approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions.
Vote early.
Advise on initial
Vote off.
have information Papa.
I think that's Papa.
San Luis County Regional Airport, ATIS information Papa. 1956 Zulu. With
Well, we'll just say Papa, and if they say it's Alpha, we'll say it was hard to tell. So this valley in here is right where the airport is. So we're gonna come in. Over here is where Oceano is, if that's where we flew the CAT-1 from. Boy, the ortho scenery looks great. We could also do a vertical plan of vertical descent if we wanted. We could tell it that we want to be at 200 feet. And it would tell me there that we need to be going down at about, if we don't want to be at 200 feet, we want to be at 1,200 feet. My mistake. Yeah, we need to be going down at about 700 feet a minute, something like that, so we can move our VNAV even further down. Okay. Here we go. Now we're coming down. Okay, we're 14 miles, still a little too early to call them. We're going to want to be coming in on 29er, so I can bug the heading to that, so we can visualize our runway. And now that we're about 13 miles, we'll go ahead and call him. Make sure we've got the right frequency. We do. And we'll go ahead while we're at it before we call them, and we'll dial up ground on our second frequency. So ground is 121.6. So we'll be ready for that. Okay. We'll call her. She just made a call, so we'll give her a second. Tell her that we have the weather.
Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact that you have information, Papa.
Keep coming down. Yeah, it's Papa.
San Luis County Regional Airport. ATIS information, Papa.
So we'll call her now. We'll tell her that we always where you are, what you're doing, so we'll tell her that we're about 11 miles, we're CSSR22, we're about 11 miles east, and we're coming in for a full stop.
Radar vectors Dana is filed. Maintain 5,000. Expect
I'm going to go ahead and hand fly the airport now. The airplane.
Squawk 6323.
Give her time to fix that call.
Palomar Airport, after departure from flyhead 175, radar vectors to Dana as filed. Maintain 5,000, departure clearance 128.1, squawk 6323, November 1 2 traffic.
Charlie, Vector runway 20 right, contact ground for taxi.
20 right, ground for taxi, November 2 traffic.
Okay, let's make our call. San Luis Tower, Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf is 10 miles to the east, 3,500, descending inbound for a full stop. And we have Papa.
So 15 Juliet Golf, San Luis Tower, thanks for Papa, make sure to runway 29er, clear to land.
Straight in 29er, cleared to land 29er, 15 Juliet Golf. All right, no report 3 mile final, we're good to go. So all bug pattern altitude, 1,200 feet. We've still got a ways to go. We're not in the delta yet, but we're talking to her so we can enter the delta. The cloud is, the smoke is really well simulated, isn't it? You basically, you can't enter the delta unless you're talking to them. Okay. Checklist. We don't need the short field takeoff. We don't need climb. We don't need cruise. Descent. Altimeter is set. Cabin heat, we've got what we want. Landing light is on. Fuel system looks good. Mixture is where we want it. Brake pressure, we've got it. Oxygen we don't need. start making for our runway. Seatbelt set. Fuel pump is the boost. Mixture full, rich. Flaps we'll deal with when we get there. I'm looking for the airport. Now if we wanted, we could load up the VNAV or the ILS approach, VNAV approach, and actually have that coming to us, but I don't see the necessity to have a center line to chase. I think I see the airport right there. I think. We're coming up to 3 miles. Yeah, that's the airport. Thousand feet to pattern altitude, that's what that alert is. We've got the runway right here. Nice stable descent. We're right on the glide slope. I got one right, one red. Go ahead and do first flaps. Now we're a little high.
Still ground, Vision 686 Bravo Zulu at Atlantic with uniform, ready to taxi.
Here 686 Bravo Zulu, runway 30 right, taxi via Alpha Bravo.
30 right, Alpha Bravo, 686 Bravo Zulu.
Check, make sure we got flaps. Yep. There we are, there's our glide slope. Pitch for about 90 knots. There we go. We got a little headwind, not much of a crosswind. Okay, going next flaps. Again, just get her trimmed. When she's nice and trimmed, you don't need to fight it on the descent. A little slow, 80 knots. There we go. Like that. Scenery looks great. Little small power adjustments. There we go. 80 knots is right where I want to be. Boy, that's smooth. Aim for those numbers. Nice. A little aerodynamic braking. Now, the critical opportunity to fail the CAT-2 is to exit this taxiway and not call ground.
Bravo Zulu holding short 30 at Bravo.
No, we're not going to make that mistake, are we? We're
686 Bravo Zulu, Bakersfield Tower,
Foxtrot.
right, clear for takeoff.
And always who you are and what you're doing,
30 right,
what your intentions are. Take our flaps up. We'll swatch over.
November 112 Bravo Charlie.
To ground.
Departure, runway 20 right, at Kilo.
121.6.
Jack 112 Bravo Charlie, John Wayne Tower, runway 20 right at Kilo, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 20 right.
Sorry, I'm behind on the stream. I'll check in just a second.
Number 15 Juliet Golf, taxi to the ramp via Alpha. Have a great day.
Go to ramp via Alpha. 15 Juliet Golf. Thanks for your help. So one of the ways, if you're learning this stuff for the first time, that was helpful for me, check both ways, no one coming, is I always sort of think of the fact that it's like a series of nested bubbles, which I'll describe in a second. Because what can be confusing to people is who do I call, when do I call them, that kind of stuff. And there's actually a pretty easy way to think about it. We'll put the old Cirrus over here next to this Kodiak. I gotta tell you, I feel like I'm getting my touch back though. Took a little while. There we go. Do our shutdown checklist.
With Charlie ready to taxi.
Autopilot is disengaged. Power, we've done all this. We didn't do a bulk landing or go around. Power level 1000. Fuel pump off. Flaps are up. Transponder standby.
686 Bravo Zulu, contact departure.
Lights off. Pitot heat off. It was never on. Fuel pump is off. Throttle to idle. Ignition switch cycle grounding check.
Departure vision 686 Bravo Zulu.
Mixture to cutoff.
600 for.
And then this is easy. You just go switches right to left. And we'll turn the parking brake. Put on the parking brake. Great. Okay, so that is the CAT-2 rating. We didn't officially file for it, but we would have passed. And let me describe what I was talking about in terms of the nested, system. So you talk to different people sort of inside out and then outside in as you're flying. Like when you're on the ground, there's a person or a station that controls just where you go on the ground. And then when you're ready to take off, you talk to the person who controls people who are landing or taking off. That's tower, which is at the next level. And then after that, if you're talking to departure or approach, that's the next level. And then when you're out of their space, the top level would be centers and center sectors. So it's sort of like nested dolls. So you know, when we took off, we weren't talking to anybody because it was an untowered airport. But the local CTAF frequencies where people taking off, landing around that airport, we talk to each other. It's a combination of ground and tower. But coming in here, I needed to talk to tower and then talk to ground. And if we had flight following, so we'd be talking to approach and then to tower and then to ground. And so you just need to learn the transitions of switch when you switch between them. They always tell you when to switch with the exception of ground to tower. You call ground at the start, and then when you're at the end of the runway ready to go, you switch to tower. You don't ask for permission to do it. And then when you land, you're talking to tower, and when you exit and you're past the runway stripes, then you switch over to ground, and you don't need to ask permission to do that. So that's it. So my son's here and needs to talk to me. I need just 1 second, and other than that, I'll hold on. I'll talk to the young lad while I have the chance. This is why we have a mute button. Okay, back to school shopping, last day. School starts tomorrow. Okay, let me just look at this. Don't know why you can't. I don't know why I can't get notifications in your stream. I don't know, Owen. I wish you did. You prefer wide, so instruments are more visible. Yeah, I think I prefer wide too. Stone and Ann say hi. Stan and Owen say hi to each other, which is nice. Sounds like Papa. Good. Glad to hear that. Thank you for the landing feedback. G-Man Fly, thanks for watching. So, next flight, boy, look, you can really see the smoke coming in. That's very cool. Next flight is probably going to be a Utah Challenge rather than the CAT-3, but there's a chance. I'm thinking tonight I might want to do some night ops. I haven't seen how the sim looks in night configuration yet, and given that it's a early night for everybody, because school starts tomorrow, we certainly won't be partying tonight. So I'm thinking maybe that would be the call, and I might load in here around 8 or 9 o'clock tonight and just take a short hop to see how nighttime configuration looks, maybe around Brandywine Airport where I used to fly outside of Philly. So that's what's up. Thanks everybody for watching, and if you're here for the first time, consider subscribing, and thanks for watching on the Glideslope.